Hello, it's time to calibrate, and this is episode 38. I'm Mark Levesque. Joining me today are my co-hosts Brent Rubiar from the Calibrated Wrist and Bob Allaby from the Time to Go Travel and Timepieces YouTube channel. This is our annual year-end Hostful episode, where we talk about the year that we're leaving behind, the year ahead, sprinkled with gift ideas and recommendations. I also have an idea for the end of the podcast that should be fun, so we'll get to that when we get there. Let's get things started with some wrist checks. What you guys got on wrist? Brent, you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. This morning I'm wearing, and I've worn on this show obviously before. It's the Longines Spirit Zulu Time 1925, and I have it back on its bracelet. That was just to make you happy, Mark. So
Yeah, as
we
it should be.
appreciate that. That's your early Christmas gift.
There you
But
go.
yeah, this is one of my favorite pickups. We'll talk about it probably a little bit later in the podcast. So
Yeah, you
what
kind
about
of
you, Bob?
spoiled it on Instagram.
I did let the cat out of the bag.
So I don't know if I told you or not, Brent, but I was talking to Mark. I'm actually going away the first week of January
Yeah.
to Huatuco, Mexico. And I
Wow.
reached out to a couple of brands to see if they wanted to send out a couple of watches for the adventure. And the one of the ones that I specifically was interested in taking for a test drive was the C63 Sealander GMT Extreme. And it just came into a couple of days ago. Awesome watch. It has the Globalite lume, like the solid lume markers. I think you have one of their watches with that right now too, Mark.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, the Lumiere. Yeah, so very cool watch. But yeah, that's what's on wrist today.
Yeah, I love that whole Sealander line, actually. Even the one that sort of has that sort of Explorer 2 look to it. I've almost pulled the trigger on that one a couple of times.
They did a couple of things with this too. Like they have a new shock absorbing system in it, some sort of rubber movement holder. They also released a new strap for this called the V strap. I know Mark won't be too crazy.
Yeah,
about
no, that
but
no,
it's
no bueno.
a cool look for the watch. Velcro. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see the lump underneath your wrist. Oh, I'm forgetting that one. I've got the Lumiere. We were just talking about it on. This is the Christopher Ward Trident Lumiere. I've always been fond of it since it came out. We got to play with them at the Toronto, all the various timepiece shows that I've been to in the States and Canada. And I've always wanted to spend some time with it. So I reached out to Andrew, our friend at CW, and they sent one over. And I am quite smitten. It's very impressive. And I've put it up against my Tudor Pelagos as a comparison. I've taken a bunch of shots for Instagram. They've been very popular. But one thing though, the lume blocks look really cool during the day. If you don't know what they are, it kind of looks like it's plastic on the dial. Not, you can't, there's no two ways about that. But if you know what they are, then, that's pretty cool. What I find strange, because they're lume blocks and they're three-dimensional, the lume goes in three directions, up and then to the side. So when it's glowing at night, it kind of looks like the indices and the markers are blurry because they're glowing sideways.
Right. You're getting that reflection off the dial, off the crystal, and yeah.
And so it's not as crisp, right? It's bright it's unbelievably bright. I put it up against the Pelagos, which is very bright on its own, very sharp and very crisp lume. And side by side, the Lumiere is much brighter initially. But then after when things, calm down a little bit, I find, I wear glasses, and at night when I go to bed or whatever, I don't wear my glasses. Things are already blurry. I found that the Lumiere was more blurry, still identifiable and easy to read, no problem at all. I found that strange. I didn't expect that visual aspect of it, but yeah, it's a cool watch. It's so thin, it's so light. I think the thinness is what really surprised me the most, because obviously the Pelly is, chunky monkey, and this guy is just shy of 12 millimeters or maybe even less, and light catcher case and all that. So the appearance on wrist looks like there's nothing there. It's just so slim.
By the way, this is pure coincidence. Mark and I didn't coordinate our outfits.
No,
today by wearing the same
no, we didn't. But I've had it for about a week, so I'm not surprised I'm still wearing it.
Yeah.
One thing that I am a little disappointed in, the clasp is great, which is really cool. And this is going to get really nerdy real fast. On the inside of the clasp, Brent and Bob can see this, but this is an audio medium. But on pocket knives that have the locking mechanism on the inside, when it's a titanium frame, they'll put a little piece of stainless steel where the lock mechanism hits the frame so it doesn't wear. You know what I mean? On the Lumiere, in the clasp where the teeth of the shell hold on to the folding mechanism, it's stainless steel. Just a little, I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yep.
Just a little bit there. It's a different color. It's a lighter color. It's stainless steel so that it doesn't wear. That's
Interesting.
really
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like is that this last link nearest the clasp does not articulate enough. So effectively, this is that big, which is the
Yeah,
length
yeah.
of the clasp altogether with the folding and the links. And if you extend the extension all the way, that becomes even bigger. So little things, but all in all, it fits me perfect like a glove. Everything's finished remarkably well. Because the case is so thin, you hear the movement, the rotor spinning a lot,
Mhm.
which is kind of neat. I kind of like that. It's alive. Anyways, that's enough for the wrist check. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do this as a review, but I'm still, again, it's only less than a week I've been playing with it and admiring it. So I'm very happy to have this with me.
Cool.
So how about we use the same format as we did last year? Basically, same questions. For the first one, watches that have come and gone in your collections. Bob, you want to go first on that one?
Yep. So for me, it's been a bit of a slower year for like more significantly, especially priced watches, because I'm buying like a lot of affordable like G-Shocks and Timex and things catch my eye in that way. But the biggest one that came in this year was the Black Bay Pro. And I don't know if I've told you guys yet or not, but that is also the biggest one that has left the collection this year. I recently let it go. There's a couple of things that are on the radar I'm looking to pick up, and I think we're going to talk about watches we'd like to pick up next year. So I'm going to save that for that part of the video. But this year I was focused a little bit more on saving up for some equipment upgrades when it comes to camera gear. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit about that later too. So yeah, a bit slower year for pickups and just watches moving in and out in general. I know that'll be a different story for you, Mark, so I'll keep mine short and sweet. And you can
Actually,
fill up
Bob,
this little segment maybe a bit more.
you're in error there.
With that.
I listened to our episode last year
Yeah.
of this exact show last year, and you had your Tudor Black Bay Pro the year before that. You started the year, you already had it.
Oh,
last year.
Shoot. Okay.
So you moved it out this year, yes, but I think you already had it. Because I got mine in like December, November, and you already had yours of the year before.
Okay. My mistake. Sorry.
Fact checked in real time.
Yeah. Okay. But that is the big one that has left the collection.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mark's been a real revolving door, I guess.
Yeah.
But so over here, it hasn't been a revolving door. Now, honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed with myself because of that, because I believe probably on this podcast, I said last year, okay, this year's the year I've got to get rid of some watches. So I did something I shouldn't have done this morning. I did a quick head count, and we're north of 40 at the moment. And that's not supposed to be the title of a television show. It's really, really bad. And so I really need to, this year, sort of thin that out. And it's not because, I'm unwilling to get rid of them. It's because I'm unwilling to take the time required to start photographing them, getting them up on the various, channels and that sort of thing. And I just haven't done that. So I think, and I racked my brain, but I don't think that I got rid of a single watch this year that wasn't maybe, given as a gift, something small that was in the collection or something like that. Because I do that periodically too. But I did add to the collection, of course. I have the Spirit Zulu Time 1925 that we just talked about in the wrist check. Very, very happy with that. I absolutely love this watch. I love the finishing on it. I think it's an incredible value for what you're getting to, because you're getting that Longines exclusive movement. It's got the gold capped rotor, the gold capped bezel. I just really, really love the colorway. It's very classy and classic. So very happy with that one. But I also got one that I haven't really talked about very much. I mean, I might not ever have mentioned it on this show, and I have only posted it on Instagram prior to acquiring it. And it's the Rado Anatom. I got the Plasma High Tech ceramic Anatom rather, and I got that mostly because it reminded me a lot of my father. And I didn't really have a dress watch per se in my collection, except for a sort of a vintage Omega. And I thought that one, with this kind of like liquid metal look to it, would be really nice with a suit. And it is. I'm very, very happy with it as well. And it's my first full ceramic watch. And I have to say, other than, of course, like all ceramic watches, it is a bit of a fingerprint monster. I really love it on wrist. I think, and I love the way that the bracelet just sort of hugs all the way around. It's really quite nice and really quite comfortable, despite the fact that it's a butterfly mechanism. And then I just acquired the RZEUT D8000, but the one with the Cerakote. And I knew
That's
it was
cool.
eventually, because I've had a bunch of them in for review and photography and things like that, but I'm very cautious usually about picking things up of late, and so I'm always worried, like, well, will there be a different version that I like better next week? And this one, the moment it arrived, I thought, that's mine. That looks fantastic. So I picked that one up as well. But hopefully this year, get rid of a few more than I did last year.
Yeah, you had said that you were going to get rid of watches, and I was going to start collecting them instead of being a serial monogamist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started taking stock of what I did this year in terms of my collection, and I sent you guys a message. It depressed me because a lot of stuff came in and out, and some of it pretty quickly. So basically, last year I started off the year with my Grand Seiko Sport GMT, the SPGE 257. That was my 50th anniversary, 50th birthday gift from my wife. So it's not going anywhere. So that will never leave. So I still have that. I had gotten an Ikigai Kame 200-meter diver. That came in and it came out in 2025. My Hamilton diver, khaki navy diver that I got in Greece last year came out in 2025. The Hampton Sullivan, the time to calibrate engraved case back, that one's still with me. I still have that. And I had my isotope, Hydrium California. That's never going anywhere. That's my first isotope. It's never going to go anywhere. And then I had my Black Bay Pro in black, same one that Bob had on bracelet. That one also came out in 2025. Now, starting in 2025, I got myself a Marathon SAR with a white dial with the tritium numerals. You guys are laughing already. That one's out. I had gotten an Enders and Company chronograph. That one's also out. I had gotten an IWC Aquatimer silver dial with bracelet, the new modern version. That one's also out. The Carline Diver 01 in bronze. That one I still have. I had gotten an Omega Planet Ocean on bracelet, the 43.5 millimeter. That one came in and out in 2025. Then I got a Black Bay Pro from Tudor with the white dial on bracelet. That one came in and out. Then I got an Omega Speedmaster Solar Impulse, which was spectacular, but just wasn't for me. So that one came in and came out. And then I got the Tudor Pelagos in black on bracelet, which is still on my wrist. And
well, there's a few days left in the
year. There's a few days left. Who knows?
Holy crap.
That was my journey. The cool thing is, we use Instagram to post our stuff, but it's also a way of document your journey with the watches that you've owned. And for me anyways, it's how I've always looked at it. And it's kind of neat. Like I've got, over a decade's worth of posts on there, like almost 6,000 posts. I can go back and look at all the watches that I've had. And at one point I was doing posts called From the Archive, and they were pictures that I had of watches that I had owned previous to when I was on Instagram. So I was posting those up. Some of these pictures I found from the Internet Archive of my old website or stuff that was on Time Zone and What You Seek from back in the day. And I was able to gather those and I was making posts of that. So it's kind of cool. I can go back and look at my journey through watches over the years. If anybody's interested, it's fun to do. It's just 6,000 posts. You can be scrolling for a while. It's kind of cool. So, guys, what were your favorite releases for 2025? Brent, how about you go first on this one?
Well, I wrote an article back at the end of November that was called, Best Watches of 2025 under 10K. So I'm going to use those here today, and then I'm going to add a couple to the end of it because a week later, there was a watch release that I think both you and I agree on, Mark, that was pretty fantastic. And then there's one that's way and above the 10K mark that I'd just like to mention today because it was nominated for a prize recently. But for me, Longines Spirit Flyback is probably the number one release for me. And again, as a cautious sort of person, I would like to add that one to the collection, but I'm almost worried, like, what will they release in March? And so I'm kind of holding off, but I loved it. The Isotope Terra Maris the Flyway is fantastic. Had I done this similar list the year before, I would have put the Moonshot on there, because I also think that's just a fantastic watch.
Your
And the
check is
Terra
in the mail.
Maris version of it. Yeah. I'm going to mention a few more then. But also, I just love that colorway particular of the Flyway. And I think, I loved it on the Moonshot as well. So that's why I chose that one in particular. But I threw one in there too from Serica, the 5303, the PLD, the amagnetic dive chronometer. I love that watch. I love Serica in general. And I do think that at some point, I'm going to have to get one of their watches too. I don't even know which one. They're all so fantastic. Also, the Hanhart 417 ES 1954 Heritage Flyback. They released a lot of watches this year, Hanhart, and so it was almost tough to pick. But that one, to me, that just sort of that classy rotating fluted bezel and stuff like that. I loved it. Tudor, I think I had to throw one from Tudor on here, and for me, it was the Pelagos Ultra. What a great watch! Like, I had it on wrist. I can't tell that that's 43 millimeters. It doesn't wear like that. It's light. Really think that's a great watch. The Zing 613, the STUTC, man, that watch is just phenomenal. Like, I saw it back in Geneva in April, and I dream about that watch too. Like, it's just a fantastic watch. The RZE UTD 8000, obviously I picked one up myself. I do think that that's one of the coolest things that's been done in the microbrand independent space for a while. And the Strom and their Fratello, I think it's called Yanman or Janman titanium. Really love that one. And then I threw also in there the Awake Silver Leaf Golden Hour that was created specifically for the Toronto Timepiece Show, but it could have been any of the ones from that series, that Fragment series. And the Christopher Ward C12 Local. Those were the 10 that I put in that initial list. And I really just love what Christopher Ward is doing. And the ones I'm going to add, and like I say, Mark, you're probably with me on this one, but it's the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. For me, it was a brave move. I know it's contentious, and there's a lot of controversy about polished center links and this and that and the other thing, but really, it's a fantastic dive watch. And the other one I'd like to mention, it was just released this week that it's up for the Louis Vuitton watch prize, and it's the Lederer CIC 39 in racing green. First of all, I think it's the most attractive watch that Lederer have ever produced. It's very, very expensive. It's far beyond my means. I'd probably have to sell both kidneys, and then I wouldn't be able to enjoy the watch. So, but it's like that watch, you could wear it upside down, and it would be just as beautiful. It's got this amazing curved and contoured sapphire case back that shows the entire movement, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But again, sort of well beyond my means. What about you, Bob?
Yeah, so for me, I didn't really do a top 10. I actually did a top 10 on my YouTube channel just a couple last week actually, but it was the top 10 of the watches that I had in for videos. So there is a bit of a crossover of my sort of overall top watches. But the one that sort of stood out for me was the Grand Seiko Tentograph, the SLGC 009. I just love the case design, the brown dial. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that watch, but even the pushers have this sort of grippy texture machined into them. Awesome movement, the caliber 9SC5. The only kicker with that one, 17 grand USD.
Yeah.
So there's that. But that was the one that sort of jumped out to me. There's a few that you did mention too, Brent, that I had on the list, so I'll try to skip those. A recent one that came out, I've had my eye on Doxa lately,
Mm-hmm.
and one watch that was released just I think a week or two ago and sold out right away was the Topper Jewelers Sub
Oh yeah.
250T, the Great
Yeah.
White. That
Yeah.
I just love the look with the white and blue accents.
Mm-hmm.
Another brand that's been on the list for me that I would like to personally own, but a release from this year was the Stratoliner S41. I especially like the Gravity Black.
Okay.
And then a special shout out to a more affordable watch that I actually have here, not right in front of me now, but the Futurist from Vario for, I think it's under 600 USD, somewhere in around there. That was a really nice release, an unexpected release from Vario. So I had that on the list too. And I think the only other one, and I don't know if it's actually available for sale now, that I wanted to mention too is the Isotope, the OVNI. I
Uh,
thought that was a really cool release,
mm,
and I think it's for sale now. I think you can actually buy those now. Maybe Mark can clarify on that, but yeah, I really like the OVNI too.
Yeah, Bob, that is our 10th anniversary piece. We released it in September of this year as a pre-release, so it is considered a 2025 release. It will be delivered as of March 2026. Now, if we sound like we're a little jumbly here, my power went out right during this recording, and I scrambled to plug in generators all over the place. So we might be a little dodgy. I'll edit this somehow. So my favorite watches for 2025 as a dive watch lover would not surprise many people. It is the Pelagos Ultra and the Omega Planet Ocean, the new one that just came out. Now, I've had a chance to play with the Ultra a couple of times, and I've compared it directly to my Pelagos, and there are attributes that I love from my watch that I wish were on the Ultra. And people have said it before everywhere on the internet. The rehat that's inside the standard Pelagos with the cutouts where the numerals are or the indices are is really really cool and stands out as a Pelagos feature. The fact that they got rid of that on the Ultra, I guess if I understand correctly, because the crystal is domed and they wanted to shave off as much as they could as far as height, they couldn't do that three-dimensional rehat in there, so they just have a flat ring, which looks good. It's great. I also like the fact that the numerals. I mean, we talked about the Loomcast plots on the Christopher Ward watches. I haven't seen the Ultra at night, but the indices are those Loomcast plots. I wonder if they're going to be blurry, like I said with the Christopher Ward or not. I don't know, but I know that on my Pelagos everything is super sharp. I also like the fact that the case back on mine and the clasp are stainless steel and not titanium. Gives you a little more heft. I know. Titanium is light. It's meant to be light. People love the fact that it's light, but in my stupid head, I have always equated heft or weight with quality and substance. And the
mm,
fact that it's a big watch and it doesn't weigh a lot feels a little weird. And also, since the clasp is now titanium, there's no counterbalance to the giant head that's on the other side. I haven't worn it. I don't know if it's going to flip flop around the wrist. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I do like the fact that the clasp is a little different than the one I have. The articulation on the first link at 6 o'clock is a lot better than on my wrist on the one that I have. So it will conform to the wrist a little better. I mean, if I can make one watch out of the two of them, that would be my perfect watch. And as far as the Planet Ocean, uh, that's a fantastic watch. I absolutely adore it. I wish the center links weren't polished. Is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. I think I could live with it. I think it would be really cool. And once it gets a little wear and a little few scratches here and there and some life into it, I think it would look really, really cool. I think it's a fantastic watch. I really love it. The only thing that really pisses me off of that watch is the fact that it's almost $12,000 Canadian. I'm sorry, I can't. If it was at the same price as the Pelagos Ultra, then that's a no-brainer.
mhm.
So right now, I'm scheming and conniving and figuring out what I can sell, a kidney, an arm, something for one of these. That's what I'm doing now. I want to shout out another watch that I saw this year. This is not a release from 2025, although maybe they released some colors this year. I don't know, but I got to see them in New York. It's the Holt Hinrich Signature Series
Mhm.
with those 3D titanium curvy cases. Boy, oh boy, in person, these things are just.
Yes.
I mean, I was in New York to represent Isotope, and every time someone come up to our booth and talk to us, well, it wasn't really a booth; it was like a couch and some coffee table and stuff like that, and they would come to us first. I said, "Have you seen the Holternich watches?" And they go, "No." And I grab them and I go to that table, take them off the table while people are there talking to the dude, and I would show off those watches because I was that excited about them. They're so cool. Yeah. So Holternich, shout out to Michel, Michael. I don't know, it's pronounced, but yeah, his stuff is really really cool. So on to the next question. Watch related gifts. Bob, how about you go first this time?
Sure. So a couple of things came to mind, and actually, partly because of you, Mark. I think something that's cool is a personalized gift or even custom gifts. As an example, a custom strap. It's a little bit of a tough pill to swallow because they can be quite expensive, but for a special occasion and the special watch, I think they're a great gift idea. And if maybe you're not sure which way to go, you could maybe pay up front with somebody, and allow the person you're gifting the strap to experience the whole process of creating the custom strap. There's guys like Aaron Bespoke, who Mark and I got to see his workshop earlier this year, which was very cool. A shout out to we were talking about the Montreal meetup before we started recording. A shout out to Mike Granger from Poppy Straps. He was at the meet and he does some cool stuff with vintage military canvases and leather too. But I think something like that would be a really cool gift idea. Stocking stuffers, can't go wrong with something like an affordable Casio, or maybe something along the lines of Far and Swit, his digitals. They're just fun
Oh yeah.
and easy and affordable. And the last thing, and I have something here, Mark. It's an Isotope product. I don't know if this is actually for sale anymore. Watch tools. Does
Wait,
Isotope still sell these?
I don't know, Bob. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, this is an actual Isotope branded. It's a screwdriver on one side. Jose sent this to me years ago, and a spring bar tool on the other. I don't know if they even went into production, but watch tools are always good. I also have a cool one here from Imperial Watch Co. that has a bunch of different attachments. These are always nice to as a gift for the watch enthusiast in your life. So yeah.
you stole my thunder, Bob. That's exactly what I'm holding in my hand right now.
Oh my God.
Is that flying watch from the Imperial Watch Co. You guys may have seen it also on Instagram. A lot of people were posting about it. I've never posted mine actually, but I do use it. So like Bob says, it's titanium. He's got the other color. I think there's 3 in total.
Yeah.
But what's really cool, just for those that can't see
Where's
this,
mine?
is that it's well, I actually, you know what, with this, I actually paid for mine. I really did. So this was not even sent to me for review or anything. I just wanted it that badly. And Ben makes some cool stuff. I love what he's doing with his watches and that sort of thing. But it comes with these 4mm hex bits. So one is the actual spring bar tool, etc. But you've got other ones that are screwdriver heads and different things like that sort of flick out. And there's different ways to use it. So for example, instead of, you can have it like this where it slides out, but there's also kind of another place to plug it in,
Oh,
which
like
would
a
make it
ratchet.
easier for ratcheting and things. I thought, it's very smart. So yes, it's for the watch nerd in you, but it's also for other things. Like this could help you with your tune up your mountain bike, whatever. It's actually quite cool. So yeah, that's actually what I had as well. And the only other thing I had, I guess it's watch adjacent, but I have this shoulder holster that holds my camera. And when I was at the Toronto Timepiece show, a lot of people just kept saying, "Hey, like, where did you get that? Or how much was that? Or whatever." And it is under $100. But I love it. I even used it when we were shooting the World Cup of Ski at Mont Tremblant a couple of weeks ago. I had one camera there, and then I had, because I had a series of different big lenses and that sort of thing hanging off the side, and I just love that. I can't stand wearing cameras around my neck. It just really bugs me.
What
So
brand is it? The one you
I
have?
think mine is actually called Newer, but I'll check that up and could maybe put that in the show notes for everybody. But it's fantastic. It just attaches to the bottom of your camera in the way that a tripod mount would, and then it slides in, and then as it rotates, it becomes locked in position, so it can't fall out if you bend over or anything like that. You literally have to rotate it again with your hands and then take it up to your eye or whatever. Very cool. Love it a lot.
All right, so Bob, shame on you. You took my idea about Aaron. You and I and Jason got to visit his atelier in the summer before our summertime get together with Alon Solutions. And we got to tour his facility, both facilities in that building, where he has all the different leathers, all the artisans that tan the leather, that do the engravings, the stitching, all that stuff, the padding. So if you have someone in your life that's a watch collector, a strap from Aaron, or better yet, he just started offering gift certificates, and the gift certificate is a piece of leather that's engraved
Oh,
with a watch box roll, and
oh, that's cool.
so you can
Nice.
offer that to someone, and they can go in if you're in Montreal, or if you're planning on do a trip to Montreal, go and visit Aaron and sit with him and show him the watch, and he'll give you ideas with his artisans, and choose the material and build yourself a strap. I mean, his work is world class. Really, really outstanding. Now, Brent, the shoulder harness is exactly what you said last year. And you mentioned using it at the Mito Diving Championships
Yes, and I did. I did use
last
it
year.
there too. It's
So,
fantastic. Yeah.
Mark is just fact checking left, right,
well,
and
no, I
Yeah.
listened to that episode so to see if I was going to do, because I said the straps last year for Aaron. So, I'm no
oh,
better.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh
Here's the
boy.
funny thing is that I also listened to only a portion of it because I wasn't sure about my viewing recommendations. If I had said that last year, but I really had no idea that I said the shoulder harness. So, but yeah.
So I'm going to throw something else out for watch collectors out there: a subscription to the Calibrated Wrist magazine. It should be on people's gift choices. It's a beautifully produced magazine, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your rear end. It is beautiful, well produced, and it's all the brands that we all love as collectors, and then some. So if someone would want to do that, they can get a hold of Brent, I'm sure, on Instagram, or just go to the calibratedwrist.com. I'm sure there's some subscription
Yep.
spots in there.
Absolutely yes.
So let's do the holiday viewing here. Brent, since you're prepared for that one, let's go.
Well, I think both of you are familiar with this, and probably you've both seen it, but just in case the audience members haven't, it's Freewheelin', and it's the documentary that was created by Christopher Ward that basically kind of follows through the creation of the C12 logo, and more particularly the movement that's on the inside. But it's a super laid back documentary. It's not sort of like flashy or overproduced. You get very much the feel like you're in the room just chatting with people as they're making mistakes, or having that eureka moment or those kinds of things. I absolutely loved it. It feels kind of like one of those road trip stories, on their way to independence or something like that. But so, again, about building the movement outside the sort of usual Swiss playbook of things, which I think is really, really cool. And it felt really just right. It felt so Christopher Ward the way that it was done. So I apologize, I can't remember who actually produced the film, but they really got Christopher Ward right, I think. And
Lots of our friends in that too, which is
yeah,
cool to
there's
see.
a lot of people that you see should pop up in there that and et cetera. And also, I think it's up on YouTube now for free. So no pun intended. But anyway, it's a great doc.
I actually, Jason and I went to British Watchmakers Day last year, did a tour of Christopher Ward, and they were filming the parts of that during
Wow.
our tour of the HQ
And you couldn't
there.
sneak into that production and be on
I don't.
camera?
I haven't watched it yet, but I was wondering if maybe like Jason or I would be in the background somewhere. But
I
I
would
don't
have
know.
done. I would have got my ass in that thing for sure.
I know.
100%. I would have snuck on
I
somewhere
know. I know. But
and smiled directly at the camera like an idiot.
So what did you have for us today, Bob?
so I can tell you what I will actually be watching over the holidays first. I've been saving it until all the episodes came out, but big fan of Stranger Things, although I'm not sure how it's going to be with the gigantic delay between seasons and how they're going to work it out with how much older the characters are. But so that's on the list. I'm waiting for all the episodes to come out. So we're going to watch that at some point in time. The other one that has a couple of episodes left that's coming out also over the holidays, I'm caught up until on the current episodes available, is Pluribus. I don't know if you guys have heard.
Oh, yeah, we're not caught up. We're 2 or 3 episodes behind. We can't wait to watch them.
That's such a cool show. It's done by the makers of Breaking Bad, but it is a whole other different thing. It's a sci-fi kind of alienish hive mind thing. If you haven't watched it, it's fun. It's got a little bit of comedy too. It's a cool show. The other thing that I always watch every year, especially with my dad visiting, is Mr. Bean. That's one of his favorites, and that's just an easy, it never gets old, so that's almost a traditional thing. We'll watch a few episodes of Mr. Bean, and yeah, that's on the watch list for the holidays for me. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, for me, the holidays starting December 26th, is a tradition for my son and I. We always watch the World Junior Hockey Championships.
Oh, that's me
Oh
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're big hockey fans, Montreal Canadiens fans, but I feel that that's the best hockey that's played every
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
They're young. They're not playing for dollars. They're playing for spots in their careers in the future, for their country. And this year it's in Minneapolis, so the time delay is not going to be so bad.
Close.
When they play in Finland or Sweden or Russia or wherever, well, they're not going to be playing in Russia anytime soon. But the time difference is rough. You know, the games are
Mm-hmm.
2 o'clock in the morning, and you're watching repeats, and it's hard. The phone will. I have the Teams app or whatever. It tells me the score, so I'll wake up and then I'll see the score before I see the game, and now we'll be able to watch it in real time. And I think the first game is on the 26th at 7 o'clock for Montreal, for Canada playing Slovakia. So I can't wait. That's my highlight of the holidays. We host Christmas at my house, and so it's all the crunch of getting the house ready and the food and the prepared, and then after that's all done, then it's downhill for us because the New Year's Eve and the New Year's is at someone else's house. So just being able to sit in your pajamas and watch hockey all day, it's just it's my favorite. Now, as far as TV series is concerned, and yes, the documentary about Christopher Ward was wonderful. It's a great recommendation. But we discovered a series. Discovered it was extremely popular. It won all kinds of awards, and because it was a doctor show, we thought, oh, it's going to be like Grey's Anatomy or ER or Scrubs or a mix of all. Was The Pit? I don't know if you guys got to see The Pit.
Mhm.
No.
I went into it remembering the main character's performance in ER back in the day,
Yeah.
and he is a completely different person than this. Obviously, he's a lot older, more mature, but the story evolves over the season evolves over all of one day. It's 15 episodes. It's 15 hours of one shift,
Mm.
and there are 3 new doctors that are joining the ER, brand spanking with their first day as residents, and the interns are there, and then there's the chief guy, which is the specific Noah Riley, I think is his name. We were blown away. I mean, we have a bit of an idea. I mean, if anybody's ever been to an ER, you kind of see what's going on, but you don't see all of it, and the stress and the pressure that's put on these people and the amount of volume that these hospitals handle, especially nowadays with the short staffs and all that stuff and budget cuts. And in the States, you have the whole insurance situation and who's paying for what and, customer satisfaction, that whatever. It was phenomenal. We were blown away. And when it was over, we were kind of disappointed that there wasn't more. I mean, it was that good. It won tons of awards and rightfully so. So that's my recommendation as far as holiday listening. It's I think it's 15 episodes. I mean, it's 15 hours of the day, so I figure it's 15 episodes. Well worth watching, binging if you're during the holidays and have nothing to do. Although bring a box of Kleenex and get your anxiety medication under control because it'll mess with your noodle. But it's very good. So holiday listening. What do you guys got cooking there? Holiday listening. Bob, you want to go first on that one?
Sure. I think last year, I misread like half the questions last year, and probably about 2/3 of them this year.
It doesn't matter. We're just having fun.
So I think last year some of us picked music, some of us picked podcasts, and I think I picked podcasts. So I went with music this time. So one album that came on my radar, and it has like a couple of times over the last decade, but it's firmly on the radar for Christmas music right now, is Joey Ramone made an album in the early 2000s called Christmas Spirit in My House. There's like 5 songs on it, but I've been playing that on repeat here lately. And I think I've even put a couple of the songs in some Instagram posts. So we're having like a bit of a rock and roll Christmas in the house. Another band is The Darkness, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them. They're like a glam rock band that was late to the party. They came out in the early 2000s. They're a lot of fun, and actually it's kind of funny, this summer Matt that writes for the Calibrated Risk sometimes, we've discovered that we were both fans of this band and saw them play live in Toronto towards the end of the summer. They also have some cool Christmas songs. So if you want to rock it up a little over the holidays, Darkness and Joey Ramone.
Very
cool. Brent, what about you?
So I did go podcast, but then I had music in my back pocket. So I don't know if it's smart to plug other people's watch podcasts on your watch podcast, but after we had Andrew McCutcheon on here, I had only ever seen one episode of A Matter of Time, and I actually watched it, because you can listen to it or you can watch it on YouTube. And I had watched it,
Mhm.
and I thought at the time that the production quality is quite high. And I took a trip back toward the end of November down to Niagara. Bob, you and I got a coffee actually while I was on that trip.
Mhm.
And so while I drove all the way down and all the way back, it was more than enough time to get the last 8 episodes in of it. There's only 9 out there right now. So if you're thinking, about sort of joining the pod, now's a good time, because, they don't have like 40, 50, 60 podcasts that you got to go back and listen to. But
Like ours.
honestly, yeah, it's like Andrew McCutcheon, obviously, and Ellie Picciotto and Christian Hagen. And it's smart. It's funny. It's so contentious. They argue all the time. And frankly, Ellie is frighteningly intelligent. She's changed my mind on a
And
lot of
opinionated.
things. Yeah. And she's changed my mind on the idea of luxury in general. And I don't want to give anything away, but wow, it's an excellent podcast. I didn't watch it on video, just listened to it when I was driving in the car, and you miss nothing. Like, I don't think, it is a high quality YouTube um, show as well, but I was totally satisfied with the audio version of it, and so it's great. And for music, so one of my favorite bands is called the Avett Brothers, and I feel like they are the United States equivalent of Canada's Tragically Hip, in the sense that, Tragically Hip were enormously popular here, but almost unknown around the world. And I don't know why it just never caught on, because really they're probably one of Canada's greatest bands of all time.
Agreed.
And I feel that way about the Avett Brothers. They don't play the same kind of music. It's more like kind of indie folk rock or whatever. But these guys are just amazing. They come out of North Carolina. I've seen them in concert. I went to see them in concert in Montreal. And in Montreal, it was at the Corona Theater, which is like maybe 500 people.
Yeah.
And it was one of the greatest concerts I've ever attended. When they play in the States, especially North Carolina, they're filling stadiums. So it's such a dichotomy between,
Wow.
listening to them. Now, their latest album is called like AVTT PTTN, which is basically Avett Patton, because they do it with Mike Patton, who fronted a lot of bands in his career. He's like in his late 50s now, and he fronted, I think, Faith No More is probably the most popular that he fronted. So, but it is a good album. But it got me thinking about the Avett Brothers, and they have quite a catalog of albums. And so if people just want to discover a really cool band with a lot of fantastic music, kind of all over the place in their styling and whatever, I would check out the Avett Brothers. Totally worth a listen.
Cool.
What about you, Mark?
So while in New York, I shared an Uber with our friend Chris from Popping Crowns, and he was talking about a podcast called Form and Function, which is James, I forgot his last name, in the UK, and Ken from Arkin together.
Oh yeah.
And I'd never listened to it before,
I've never even heard
and
of that.
Oh, it's great.
it's actually
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like TGN with a British accent.
Hmm.
And then that leads me to recommending also Chris's podcast, A Tale of Two Risties, which is like TGN with an American and British accent. And Iman on that show is absolutely a delight. Her viewpoints on watches is different. She is also opinionated in a good way, and their chemistry is undeniable. They're just fun to listen to as good friends from across the pond. So we're hopefully planning to do a crossover episode with them at some point in 2026. So that should be some fun listening. So those are my recommendations. I don't listen to too much music anymore. If I do, it's usually classic rock and stuff that we grew up on. I just don't have a lot of time with everything that I'm doing, and with all the podcast listening that I do. It's no time for music. So how about some holiday reading? What do you guys recommend for reading? Brent, you want to start with that one?
Yeah. One of the greatest books I've read in the last couple of years, in fact, is called The Comfort Crisis. And it's got by a guy named Michael Easter. And I don't know a whole lot about him, but I think he's been a magazine writer for years, for things like Outdoor Magazine and stuff like that. And it's really interesting. The premise is that modern life has basically gotten a little bit too easy, and it's sort of messing us up, because we're creatures who are meant to be kind of like, moments of scarcity and hardship, and sometimes moments of plenitude. And now it's just like our whole life is filled with, safety and warmth, and we're well fed and we're entertained at every minute. And we're basically dodging discomfort. And so his idea is that that's what's missing in our lives, because we're lacking the resilience and the focus and the fulfillment that we used to get from, facing hardship and overcoming it. And so the book basically argues that small intentional doses of discomfort, like a really hard workout or a really tough hike in the outdoors, or, experiencing just a little bit of hunger or cold, or just simply being bored for a while, actually make us healthier and happier. And of course, he backs it all up with science and psychology and stuff like that. But the strangest thing about the whole book is that it's told in and around this hunting trip that he takes to the wilds of Alaska, like way out in the middle of nowhere, dropped off in a plane. Plane will come back in X number of days, survive. And I'm not a hunter at all, but I just found it fascinating, the whole hunting story and how he worked in this theory around the hunting story about hunting caribou. And so, yeah, fascinating book. Very, very cool. What about you, Bob?
Well, first of all, for as far as watch content, I really enjoy reading people's writings that I know, like you guys, for example, Vincent.
Oh, yeah.
Over in France. It's a neat feeling. It makes it a little extra special when you actually know the author of the content.
Bob, do you when I read Brent's work,
Yeah,
I hear his voice in my head
100%.
really.
Both of you guys. I'm telling
That's
you right
hilarious.
now. Yeah, both of you guys. Vincent is somebody that I've gotten to know really, really good over the last couple of years with Mainspring Watch. Love reading his stuff. Chris, Popping Crowns. Anytime he posts that he's got an article, which could be in a few different, he writes for a few different people, but he's got a really neat way, like a really neat style of writing. I'd like to see him try to write a novel on something. Like, he's got a cool style, very cool style for
He was a
sure.
comic book writer for a while.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. I heard that
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a poet also. He's got a whole bunch of poems online that are published.
I know.
That's cool.
He's a brilliant writer.
I found a book. So last year I got a book for Christmas that I haven't read yet. And just after the holidays, we started decluttering because we were actually looking at selling and moving. And something happened with my wife's career that the plans changed and we're staying here, and it's a good thing. But I got a book for Christmas, the a Moonwatch story, The Extraordinary Destiny of the Omega Speedmaster. And I don't know if you guys have that one or not, or it's a really nice hardcover book. I have not read it at
Seen it in
all.
the background of so many videos on YouTube.
Yeah, so I dug that out. Actually, when I was digging out Christmas decorations, I found that again. So looking forward to giving that a read over the holidays. And yeah, what about you, Mark?
So I've already told you guys I used to be a voracious reader, a book a week, book every 2 weeks, and that obviously changed once smartphones came around. I don't read as much as I used to. But one of my favorite books that I've recommended over and over again, and I've even had my kids read it because I liked it so much, is a book called As the Crow Flies by Jeffrey Archer.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Archer is a prolific writer. He wrote the Pillars of the Earth series, which was a miniseries on TV at some point. Those books were phenomenal as well. Very long, but historically accurate and just beautifully written. But this one book, As the Crow Flies, is about a young boy who dreams to running his grandfather's fruit and vegetable barrel in the UK and England, and it spans over 3 continents and 60 years. So it's basically his life as a young boy into his older age, and he goes through a lot, and it's so much fun to read, and it does something that I've not seen very often. The narration changes from chapter to chapter, so you'll have a third person narration. One chapter, the next chapter it'll be first person, so the antagonist, and then it'll be a second person, which is the antagonist, whoever else is in the scene. Now, it's not always the same timeline that happens seen by another view. That does happen once or twice, but then it's just a continuation of the story told by someone else. It is phenomenal. It is a fantastic book. Highly recommend it. It was a gift to me by an old boss of mine, a mentor, maybe 20 years ago, maybe a little more. and my copy is held together by duct tape because it's been shared so many times. And my oldest son tends to, you know, take a book and bend it and hold it in one hand with the pages bent underneath,
Mm.
which even just saying it right now, like, oh, I'm having a hard time because I don't even crease the spine on my books. Like mine are pristine. But anyways, that specific book deserves reading. So that's my recommendation. If you got time over the holidays to spend with a good book, that's my recommendation.
You know,
So moving on to pursuits and projects for 2026. What do you got cooking there, Bob?
A few things. Every year, I always plan to learn a little more when it comes to like videography, photography. I mentioned before I'm saving up for some equipment, and the reason being is I've always tried to have that one camera that does everything, and there's no such thing. It's I know Brent knows this, so I'm going to upgrade my video centric camera body and also get a photo first camera. I'm sticking to Canon for my video, but it looks like I might join the cult of Fuji that Brent is a
our
member
work
of.
is done here.
Yeah, it's you and Matt. Matt too is like it's yeah. Anyway, so that's one thing that I want to do. So that's there for sure. Want to see some new places this year, and when it comes to travel, and it looks like it's going to be my first year visiting Geneva, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be an amazing.
Very, very jealous here. Very jealous.
It's looking like Geneva Watch Days and possibly Watches and Wonders, but Geneva Watch Days is pretty much penciled into the calendar. So looking forward to that. The other thing that I wanted to that just sort of popped in my head is Mark, you sent an email out. You searched up, you Googled us, the podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the stats, what was it called? Goodpod.com or something like that.
Yeah.
We were in the top 10% of podcasts in the world. There's almost 4 million. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering if in 2026 we can get to the top 9. How hard is it to move a percentage out of
take
4
those
million?
statistics with a grain of salt there. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know.
But it was cool to
But
see. There was another one that said we had 4,800 reviews and a 4.5 rating or something like that. It was, I also
I know,
think that,
yeah, that's pretty crazy, but yeah.
yeah, but I don't think I mean, Brent, you've seen the numbers. We're not nowhere near that, but it's nice that people are listening. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not
But
just
it's
talking into the
interesting, you know,
void.
what Podbean doesn't always tell us is like when there are comments and likes that are on different platforms. And so I got this strange thing the other day. I think it might even been from Spotify letting us know, you know, that hey, you've got X number of comments, and I didn't even know, but I guess we have, you know, people are commenting on it and liking it. So it's that's definitely a rewarding experience, almost like it was then when we first started getting approached at, you know, watch shows saying, hey, you know, I listened to your podcast. So yeah, that's a lot of fun.
It sure is. How about you, Brent?
Last year was kind of my Bob year, I guess. Like that was a year where we really heavily invested a lot of money in equipment. Like we got new and smaller video cameras so that Caroline could travel more easily, because we used to travel, you know, with gimbals and all kinds of stuff, and it was really difficult. And we got a lot of I got a brand new camera too, like the Fujifilm X-T5, so that I have the X-T2 and the X-T5. And then we invested in lenses, because now that we were going to go and cover things like events, well, you need a totally different range of lenses, and those are not cheap. So I think we're pretty much squared away with those things. And this year it's going to be more about strengthening and consolidating some of the things that we have. Like there's like Bob, we've got a lot of travel that's on the slate. I'll probably be in Switzerland twice, once in April for the Watches and Wonders Week, and then for Geneva Watch Days in September. That'll be the first time for me to go to Geneva Watch Days, but Bob and I are probably doing that trip together, and
Yeah.
we'll be doing some co-creation stuff while we're there, which will be a lot of fun, I think. Obviously Vancouver and New York City are on the slate again for this year, and most likely Sweden again. And then we have this kind of I'm going to call this a surprise destination, because I don't think I'm allowed to mention it right now. It's kind of under embargo, but it's an event coverage thing. And we are super excited about it. It looks like it's going to happen in July. And we're going to be, you know, strengthening the magazine, expanding its distribution, and really working hard on the website. Not things that you can physically see in the website, really, but a lot of behind the scenes, SEO stuff and optimization. We've already begun to work on that right now. We jumped a lot this year. We jumped 75,000 views. So we're hoping to do the same thing or more next year. And hopefully lots of camping. Just on a personal note, if Jamie's listening, and I know he will be, we're hoping to make June a Newfoundland month. So head out
Oh,
with the
sweet.
trailer and the dogs, and drop in at Jamie's place and plunder it. So anyway, yeah.
You know he's gonna hold you up to that, right?
Oh, I know
Oh,
he
yeah.
will. I know
You've now
he's been
committed.
he's been bugging me for years, but June we've eyed up June, and we're looking at the ferry crossing and the cost of that and that sort of thing. So yeah, very cool. What about you, Mark?
You guys know what the ferry crossing is for a truck, like a 53-footer? How much that costs?
Well, I know that it's going to cost me about $1,500. So
Yeah, it's about
Is
that.
it
It's
that
about
much?
yeah,
1,600 € plus tax.
but I think
Wow.
that's return for me. I'm not sure, but because it gets you like it's an 8-hour trip, right? So, but and we would be technically a truck. It will be my
With the
vehicle
trailer.
plus a 17
Yeah, that's right.
trailer. So yeah, so well,
Yeah,
but
you only pay once. So it's a round trip. There's
yeah,
no just one way. You're
that's
paying for it, and then it's free to come back.
right. But no,
uh,
looking forward to that for sure.
you're talking about your photography. I saw so many of your pictures that you took at the ski competition in Mont Tremblant.
Mm.
I'm telling you, the shots you took are Sports Illustrated, ESPN quality.
I appreciate
I couldn't believe that you took those shots. Not that
it.
you're not that good. It's just I've never seen you do anything like that before, and it blew me away. I was really impressed.
Me
It's
too.
a totally different process. Like
I
everything
can
about it
imagine.
is different. The settings on the camera are all different. The lens is different. Like uh, it's so interesting. Because camera technology has come a long way. So I have to really appreciate anybody who did stuff like that 20, 30 or more years
Oh
ago,
yeah.
because
Oh
now
yeah.
you can actually set your camera up so that as soon as something enters the frame, it jumps toward it in an automatic focus. That didn't exist, even that long ago. So it's a really cool thing. I want to do a lot more of it. I really, really enjoy it. And like I say, we're probably going to get a pretty cool shot at it this summer too. So
Imagine doing that without even a digital camera, so you can't even see what you took.
yeah,
It's all film.
yeah,
So you're taking like hundreds of pictures, hundreds of shots per,
yeah.
and then weeding through all that afterwards after you developed that film. I mean, it must have been, yeah, that must have been crazy. But for me, my camera setup this year and next year is going to be really complex and a bunch of lenses, and it's going to be my Pixel 10. And so far, I'm very pleased with it. It does a good job.
Vern from Watch Studies is pretty fantastic about showing people how to maximize their cameras. And a lot of the stuff that he puts up are like, he's a Fujifilm shooter as well, but are done with his Apple iPhone. Like he can produce some pretty amazing stuff, and with an iPhone. So
Yeah, I kind of like some of my shots too.
yeah,
Pursuits and projects for 2026. It is Isotope's 10th anniversary
nice.
next year in 2026. So we plan on doing fewer shows, but doing more private events.
Mm.
So we'll combine with Alon Solutions. We'll combine with Red Bar. I already spoke to Adam Craniotis. We're going to do some Red Bar shows in their biggest markets. I'm hoping to reach out to the Utah Society, Horological Society. They've got a big people there. And Jose wants to do places we've never been to before. So, Miami, Colorado, places we haven't done in the US yet.
Awesome.
So that's what we're doing. I'm really looking forward to the Montreal Timepiece show. We talked about this off air before about coordinating the inventory, because Jose is going to be in Poland for the Oro Kronos show at the exact same time. So we can't be both, together. So this will be probably the first show that I do by myself, which I'm excited about, especially in my backyard. It's going to be inexpensive because there's not going to be any hotels. I don't have to eat out. It's local for me. It's just a matter of coordinating the inventory. So we're going to work that out. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's basically my projects for next year. Nothing else. I mean, traveling will be the same as this year. A few places in the U.S. We're definitely doing the hype again in New York City. We're going to do Intersect in New York City. So we're probably going to start the year February at Intersect there, and then New York in October again for the hype. And then the places in between. So that'll be very cool. Those are my projects and pursuits. And again, I'm going to be focusing on my camera work and my lenses and my Pixel 9. Pixel 10, actually. Sorry. I just got it. I'm pretty stoked with it. It takes some great pictures, but I know it's not the same. What about watch prospects? And Brent, what do you got cooking? What do you got your eyes on?
There are two, and I guess I can say it's actually only one now because in the last 24 hours, I think I got one of them. So, so we've been talking about Handheart for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to Franz on email yesterday, and then we sort of negotiated, he and Felix and and I have like a bunch of their stuff in right now, but it has to go back. Even the one I want, which is the Heritage flyback, with the red pusher, etc. Because it came in
So
on
you held it hostage
well,
and got a discount.
yeah, they come in with a pro forma invoice, right? So you
Yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah.
really, if it would be tough for them because Germany is very, very strict about that kind of thing. It has to come back.
Germany
So
is strict.
yeah, so it's going to go back, and then I'm going to get a new one. So and
Cool.
it should arrive early in the new year.
On bracelet, right?
And yeah, on the bracelet. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and because it's a crazy strap monster anyway. If I can put a lot of aftermarket stuff on there if I feel like it. But
Yeah, why would you? You know,
I
get a
do like
bracelet.
their bracelet. I do actually like their bracelet, and I think it makes that watch in particular look really good. In fact, yeah, I think Mark, I'd taken a shot of it, and you said, "Whoa, wow, that watch on a bracelet looks amazing," and it was a
Yeah, yeah,
while
because you
ago.
don't
But
usually see them on bracelet.
no,
Those ones that are
you don't.
chronographed. So
But they've been working on their bracelets now. Some of them have that comfort adjust and things like that.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
looks
yeah.
like that's a done deal at this point. The other one is also a flyback, and it's a Longines flyback. I'm just kind of waiting to see what they do with it next year. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah. What about you, Bob?
So I think I've mentioned this before, but I always have stuff on the radar, but I'm a bit of an opportunist when it comes to watch purchases. Historically, I've been. I don't even intend to be, but uh, sometimes watches just find their way to me through friends, people in the watch community, that sort of thing. So I really don't know what I'll end up going for, but realistic goal, I mentioned Doxa before. I've never owned a Doxa and I've always wanted to. Looking at just the sub 300T orange dial classic
That's great.
Doxa look.
Yeah.
I just love that watch, so I could see that being
That's a
something.
Bob watch.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I still have that Bond Seamaster, similar to yours, Roby, on the list, and those are two that are realistic goals for the year. I mentioned before, Mark, when you were dealing with your power outage there, the Fortis Stratoliner is a possibility. I love that watch. Love the moon. The moon watch is still, or the moon shot is still a watch that I would love to own too at some point in time.
I
So
can
I
make
think
that
I
happen.
know that'd be
I
a
know a guy.
good 1-2 punch alongside the Mercury. So yeah, we'll see. Those are a few options that are definitely on the radar, but we'll see how it goes. What about you, Mark?
Yeah.
And that's I think we're up to like $60 now for isotope.
Yeah. Payouts. I'm gonna have to pay myself now because I'm gonna be talking about one too. The isotope of knee that we launched, we talked about that a little earlier. I can't wait for that to get into people's hands. I mean, I've spent the last year and a half showing it off at different shows around, North America, and I have one here, the prototype for the 44 millimeter. The production is 40, and all the little refinements that Jose did. Do you guys remember that watch on the case back has a little portal where you see the rotor?
Mhm.
Jose put a cow on the rotor so that it looks like the spaceship is abducting a cow.
That is hilarious.
Isn't that funny? I can't wait to see those in person and get the collectors to finally get them in their hands and on their wrists and seeing what they do with them online. It's going to be so much fun seeing that being delivered. So I really look forward to that. As far as watches for me, I still want that Jack Mason Strato timer really badly. So at some point I got to give in and get one. But also Serica, that diver with the faded blue dial and faded bezel, it kind of look ghosty with that mesh bracelet, the way it's integrated. I love that watch. Every time I see it, I play with it, I just absolutely adore it. But right now, my mind is like trying to figure out how I'm going to get my hands on a Pelagos Ultra or an Omega Planet Ocean somehow pre-owned somewhere, and what I'm going to have to move or finagle to make that happen. So that's where I'm at as far as is prospects. But like Bob, oftentimes there are opportunities arise like that that Speedmaster Solar Impulse.
Mhm.
I wasn't looking for that. That just sort of was offered to me as part of a trade, and I took the opportunity because I never owned that model. I don't think I've ever seen a titanium version of a mechanical Speedmaster before. It was also 44 millimeters. It had a carbon fiber dial. It had GMT, and it was a true GMT. I hate saying that. It was a Traveler's GMT with the hour hand could move. It had the Frederic Piguet movement inside, the 1285, not the 1185, the bigger one with the longer power reserve. It was a really, really, really cool watch. But on wrist and living with it, it wasn't for me, but it was a great experience to own that. So something like that's probably gonna happen to me again next year. It always seems to. So I look forward to that. Now, I want to do something different we didn't do last year, and we just talked about podcasts, and one of them that I listened to is the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, and these guys have been around for 21 plus years on air. I think they're on the 21st year of doing their show, and they've never missed an episode in all those years, and it's a weekly show. And they talk about all kinds of skeptical things, talking about what RFK Jr. did last week and debunking myths and other stuff, and a lot of science news and GMOs and whatever. They talk about all kinds of things, and it's very fact based information. And one of them is a neuroscientist. He was a neuroscientist at Yale University. So highly educated people. One of them is a psychologist or psychiatrist. Sorry. So they're really good at that. And every year at this time of year they do predictions. So because they make fun of psychics that make predictions for the following year, and what psychics usually do is they'll throw out like 50 or 60 predictions. One of them is bound to be right, and then they focus on that for the following year. See, I said this actually happened, and some of these are super broad. Like we predict that it's going to be over 120 degrees in Texas for over a week. You know what I mean? Like something like that, or it's super broad stuff. So why not do this for ourselves? Like why don't we just do as three watch quote unquote experts? Let's do some predictions, three of them each for 2026, and then reevaluate at the end of the year if we were right on any of them. So
okay.
Go for it, Bob.
I sort of slightly misread this too. So I think I'm about 7 out of 8 wrong questions. I actually did one prediction, but I think it's kind of a big one.
Go for it.
So I'm predicting AI to play a bigger role in the watch world. It's infiltrating everything, and I wonder what impacts it'll have on watches in 2026. It's used widely in content creation now. I've personally steered clear for that, or of that at least for now, but I wonder if it'll end up being used to design watches or even create new innovations with actual movements. It feels like just a matter of time, and I'm sure there's companies out there dabbling already. Even you, Mark, and Andrew from Seal Instruments have had talks about it with the watch you designed using AI. It scares the crap out of me, to be honest with you, but it would be cool if someone did something cool with it.
Bob, we're already doing something cool. We're doing a podcast art using AI.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But I think it'd be cool if somebody did some cool innovation with an actual watch or movement design. If they were open and transparent about it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. Didn't G-Shock make some ugly AI watch design? It was like this monstrosity, looked terrible.
Is that the one that was like made out of like a crocheted like sweater thing or something?
No, I don't know. It's just really ugly. I'll find one. I'll put in the show notes, or a video or something. I'll put in show notes. It's just atrocious.
Are you and Andrew still like talking about that, or is that sort of gone?
I mean, since joining Isotope, he's kind of put on a bit of the back burner, and he kind of developed his own affordable version of a field watch with fixed lugs. So his focus really is on delivering the Exos and that new affordable field watch thing. It's still there. I mean, Andrew and I talk almost daily, and he's a buddy. So usually making fun of things, or me making fun of him, or him making fun of me. Speaking of that, wait until you guys see the video I did for Dan for Dansum for his 12 days of Dansum.
You showed us that.
Oh, did I? Yes, that's right. I did show it to you guys.
Yes. Wait till you guys see it.
That's right. I did show it to you. I forgot. I thought
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You guys that are listening, keep an eye out for that one.
That's pretty funny. So that's it for your predictions, Bob? Yeah.
Yeah. Brett, what about you?
So I swung for the fences on this one, Mark, because I thought it was a cool idea. So I'm going to call this one the middle complication. And I think that we're going to see like haute horlogerie with kind of mid-luxury execution and lots more of it. Watches like with really cool mechanical interest when you look at them, but that you can actually aspire to and wear. Not just vintage reissues with mid-century styling, but watches in the 5K to 15K US here we're talking range from independents that bring haute horlogerie to the common person. I think that Christopher Ward has already begun it with things like the Belcanto and the Local. I think that Garrick and Fears and Torsti Lane are really well positioned to do the same thing. I even think that brands like that we know, like Selton and Awake, have done really cool things with their dials. But here I'm talking about something like the watch built from the ground up, movement up. Louis Erard is something, another brand that's doing it for like 3,500 to 5,500, usually Swiss francs. But like they're doing collaborations with Vianney Halter and Konstantin Chaikin and like just like really, really crazy stuff that you would have thought at one point you could never afford to wear that. And yet now I think you probably can. Um, I don't know if you've ever seen Louis Arras like regulator watches, but like they're just fantastic. Anyway,
Yeah.
as big houses skyrocket in price, like Mark, you've been talking about it for a long time. I'm in agreement on it. I think that that's going to leave the door wide open for all of these independent brands, but established and well-funded independent brands to step in and say, hey, why are you going to pay 10K for this dive watch when you can pay 6 or 7K for this, this piece of haute horlogerie, like this amazing movement, this fantastic casework, etc. So jumping hours, remontoir, deadbeat seconds, like all those kinds of things, I think you're going to start to see that are going to become more affordable. And because of that rising price, people are going to say, geez, man, I love to buy into Omega. I love to buy into, Tudor, but I can get this really cool luxury piece for something that's roughly the same price. So that's prediction number one. I think it's, maybe it's unfair because that's already begun, but I think we'll see a lot more of it. And then I also think that case, and Mark, you talked about the Heinrich stuff. Case design is going to become the new battleground. I think for the last few years, it's all been about dial, stone dials, guilloche, marquetry, etc. And now I think people are going to say, well, let's see what we can do with the dial. With the case. And Isotope, I think, is somebody that's at the forefront of that. You look at the OVNI and think, okay, this is not a regular watch case whatsoever. So I really think that we're going to see a lot more of that, but also new materials, whether they're materials that are like hybrid materials or whether they're new entirely. I think that Rado is in a good position to do that. Obviously, big brands like Hublot have already done crazy stuff with materials. But I really think we're going to see some really cool, innovative cases because also of the new materials that will be out there. And then number three, the next great leap. I think that brands that we formerly knew as micro brands or small independents will begin the march toward establishment. And, some of them have been around since like 2008, and they've slowly been consolidating and growing and producing great watches. But I'm not just talking about sales here. I think that they're going to take the next leap in things like quality control, after sales service, and most of them are really transparent with their pricing too. So that's going to make them very attractive as we see these soaring MSRPs from other established or legacy brands. And again, leave the door wide open for people like Christopher Ward, who's probably already there. They, like I was writing about them 5 years ago. I wrote an article called 5 Micro Brands Changing the Face of Watchmaking. And they were one of them. And I look 5 years down the road, you can't call that a micro brand. Like they're an established maison. They're doing amazing things. And I think that, Serica's ready to make that jump. I think there's a lot of French brands actually. Beau Bleu, March Lab, Yema, they're
Baltic.
they're all in a position to do that. And there are even some strong German contenders like Zinn and Laco and Hanhart.
Circular.
And Circula, who's working with Laco right now, and on a collab. So those brands, you may not be able to call them micro brands anymore right now, but they're also positioned in their integration and their superstructure is there for that next step, I think. And so because their prices are just better for the same or better product, I think that we're going to see that a lot more.
Look what Studio Underdog just did. They bought their movement, their assembler in the UK.
Absolutely. Yeah. Studio Underdog is another one producing amazing stuff. It's really affordable and it's really inventive. You know, again, I'm starting to wonder, even with my own collection, as I look at these things, do I want more of the same? Or is it time now to start saying, hey, I've always been a dive watch guy, but geez, I really would like that Lumiere, or, you know, and if it's going to be the same price anyway, you know, and you can get these really, really cool things. Like Mark, when the power went out, I was talking about the CIC from Bernard Lederer, which is up for the Louis Vuitton prize right now. Like that's a watch that you could, you know, right now it's unaffordable for me, but there are watches in that category that offer that same kind of inventiveness and cool factor that are actually affordable now. So I see that probably as a movement too, in the enthusiast sphere, for sure.
Yeah, very cool. I think 3D printing, when you were talking about case manufacturing, I think 3D printing is going to factor in more and more as we go.
Wow.
So that's not one of my predictions. That was just going on what you were saying. I've got 3 here, and one of them is a real swing for the fences. So the first one is basically, I think that 2026 is going to see a lot of brands go under. I think that with the way the market is going, not necessarily just the tariffs, but the way affordability is, I know of a few brands that are already struggling. I think that next year there are going to be some big brands and some small brands that are going to go away. I think the market is, there are a lot of brands. There are way too many brands. When you can have a wind up in New York and have over 160 brands there, and then there's a sideshow with another 9 or 10 brands, and then there's Watch Time that has another 20, 30 brands all in one night. I mean, to become saturated. And I believe you're correct that the brands that are going to be able to innovate and offer up complications at prices never seen before, they're gonna emerge, the winners here. And the brands that are making copycat Submariners and you know, not being imaginative or not pushing the envelope, they're going to start feeling the pain. And a lot of the upper brands that are going up market, way too high up market, or trying to reinvent themselves, British brand, I think they're going to have a really hard time in 2026. So that's one of my predictions. Second revolves around size. Now, we saw sizes going down for a while now, down 36, 38 millimeters. I think they're starting to go back up. I think that we're going to wind up at the end of 2026 in the 39 to 42 millimeter range. I don't think that we're going to go back to 44 plus. I think those days are gone. But I think that people still enjoy their bigger watches and being able to read them, the date, being able to read the date and the time. I think that 39 to 42 is where it's going to land. That's my second prediction. And my third here, now I hope you guys are sitting down. Swing for the fences here. Rolex is going to come out with a white dialed Submariner in 2026. Or titanium one, I don't know.
Well, the land dweller is a white dial too, right? Like the one they just came out with, it's sort of like
the Explorer 2 has always been white.
Yeah,
I mean, there was had a white one there, but a Submariner.
But a Submariner, yeah. Boy, that would rattle a few cages.
Yeah, wouldn't it? But first you have to do it in platinum and then in gold, then two-tone, and then in stainless steel.
Yeah.
So it might be 5 years before we see a stainless steel white dial Submariner, the way they do things. But who knows? I mean, no one saw the land dweller coming, so why not?
Yeah.
So that's basically it, man. That's our end of year show for 2025. We would like to wish everyone listening happy holidays and all the best to you and yours for 2026. And hey, if you're wondering what to get us for Christmas, how about a review or on one of your podcast platforms of choice? We'd really appreciate it. The Time to Calibrate podcast is out every 2 weeks, and it can be found where you just left the review and the like and all that stuff. Till then, see you in 2026, and T2C out.
See everybody.